Hi, everybody. I'm Roberta Gonzales, and welcome to Visit Mendocino County. Magic is real. It's an audio and a video podcast because, come on, think about it. It is so visually stimulating here. Today's show, which this podcast is going to feature, is art. It's all about the beauty of art in Mendocino County. First stop, we're going to talk with the fine folks from the Alleyway Art Project, and then we head on over about 60 miles to the Medium Art Gallery in Ukiah. Our last stop of the day will be featuring Harmony Gates, and I promise you, this is such a show and featuring arts and the beauty of Mendocino County, and we have it all for you today on Visit Mendocino County. Magic is real.
My name is Leah Morsell. I am the director of the Alleyway Art Project in Fort Bragg, California.
Intimate details in each mural is a reflection to the community and the support and pride given. Fort Bragg murals are a testament to the power of art to connect the past to the present.
The art scene is one of the most vibrant things about Fort Bragg. We also have, amazing tourism and hospitality. We have our amazing headlands, beautiful natural scenery around here. For me, it really was the creative community that drew me here. Part of this project is I wanted to bring the vibrance of what I saw in the community into the built landscape. And so I brought together the artists and the city and local sponsors, and we decided to turn a lot of our empty walls into something that really represented how fun our area is. So a lot of our subject matter is inspired by local events, local beauty.
So this is what you see all over town, these beautiful, artistic, imaginative murals. What do you as a city provide? You say, here's a bucket of paint, go for it?
Well, the city actually got behind the project right from the beginning. That was, one of the things that made the project so successful was the city's support and also the community's support. So we all want to live somewhere creative and fun and where we're always seeing color and life. So the city sponsored one of the big rounds of murals that they did in collaboration with somebody who offered a challenge grant. But since the very, very beginning of the project, when we were just, a tiny, tiny little, could we do one mural sort of operation, the city council, they've said yes. They have taken a big leap of faith creatively because for some of these we didn't know how the end mural was going to look.
Right.
So we had their faith, their support. They've waived a ton of fees. They've expedited permits. They've just been incredibly supportive.
Do you have a theme? Do you have to have guidelines? Do you have to say none of this?
Yeah, it's all the stuff you would expect, nothing offensive. We try to, stay away from divisive politics. We actually try to stay away from words.
I was wondering
that.
Yeah,
so we try to keep it very visual. Most of the themes are around local history, local animals, local scenery, and local mission-driven organizations that are doing amazing things in our community.
So let's hear about a couple of these murals.
This mural is by Marta Alonso Canalar. It is of bees and lavender. So this mural is called the Rhododendron. It was sponsored by the Mendocino Coast Botanical Gardens, which is up Highway 1, and it is to celebrate their collection of rhododendrons. They have hundreds of them, some of which are extinct in the wild and definitely worth a visit. This mural that wraps around the corner of Redwood and McPherson was sponsored by REFI, the Redwood Forest Foundation, and it is to celebrate the regrowth of healthy redwood forests in the area. It's a town favorite, not just because it's beautiful and one of the biggest in the area, but it demonstrates how we all come together as a community, both with our natural landscape and with each other.
Coming up next, heading 60 miles to Ukiah to visit a very special gallery.
In the heart of Mendocino, the seasons unfold, painting the landscape in vibrant hues of green and gold. As summer awakens, Lake Mendocino mirrors the blue skies above. Here, ancient oaks skirt the water's edge, and wildlife dances across the water. This is a place where peace finds you, and the soft lapping of the lake's pulse sings a song of summertime. Mendocino, magic is real.
We've had such a wonderful day outdoors because that's what you could do in Mendocino County. We have been dancing with the redwoods. We have been checking out the murals in Fort Bragg. So let's take it on indoors now. We are in Ukiah at the Medium Art Gallery. Come on, don't be shy. Come on. So isn't this beautiful? This is Medium Art Gallery right here in central Ukiah. And this is a nonprofit art gallery. And I wanted to know, what does that mean? So come on along. We're going to be joined here. Hi, Lillian. It's Lillian Ruby, everybody. Lillian Ruby here today. Tell me about this art gallery, the Medium Art Gallery. First of all, why medium?
Oh, because it's open to all mediums of art. So we want, that's the whole approach here, is to be accessible to everyone.
I like that. I like that. Okay, now what does nonprofit community art gallery mean?
Well, we formed a nonprofit because we wanted this to be a different approach to the gallery model. A typical gallery model, it's very much based on commission fees, keeping the doors open and it being marketable. And then this approach, it's much more based on the needs of the artist and it being accessible, and for emerging artists as well, who might not have the income to support that. So.
Yeah, but you are doing a wonderful service for these artists, and they don't have to pay some money up front to have their art shown.
That's right.
But how are you able to pay the rent on this wonderful place?
Well, we do a lot of fundraising. We get community contributions and support from the Pear Tree Center as well. So it's been a real community effort to keep this going, and I think people really believe in our vision, and we have hopes for even furthering that with an art center in the future.
So you have all these wonderful pieces of art on the wall and also in some shelves. And also I'm sitting on art right now, and I got to tell you, I think this would make a lovely bed. But tell me, this couch has a story to be told.
Yes, we had this donated as a blank couch,
like a canvas, a
yes,
blank
exactly.
canvas.
Yes, and it was part of a show that we did previously that had a lot of kind of street art, and we had it here, and then we had a podium with a bunch of markers and a sign saying "Tag Our Couch," and it stayed up for the length of the show. And people really took a lot of joy in adding things to it.
Yeah, I think my butt is sitting on a butt right now. There is a butt on here. What? I see a rainbow. I see flowers.
Kids especially loved it.
Oh, I bet they did.
Get to, although parents were a little concerned.
What is your favorite part about coming and showing up here at the Medium Art Gallery every day? What keeps you going?
Well, it's a cyclical thing. We inspire others and they inspire us. It's a really beautiful thing that happens here. I mean, we have themed shows and some people who look forward to it as kind of like a call to action and create something for it. We've had children who showed here for the first time, adults who showed for the first time, sold their first piece of artwork. It's been a really beautiful thing to see.
What are your aspirations? Where do you go from here?
Our hope is to have a larger vision of an art center that has space for creation, where we can have workshops that are always up, so people could rent a space that's outfitted with all of the gear needed, and have a studio space for rent. And then you would have the gallery space as well. So it would be a fully functioning opportunity for people to experience and create art.
That's quite the vision.
It is. I mean, when we first started having this discussion, and it was just after the 2018 fires, And a lot of artists lost everything that they had, and it showed just how big that need is in our community for having a space like that to support so many creative people.
When there's the big fires in Maui and Lahaina, that's one of the first things I thought about as well. The life loss, but also the art loss.
Right.
Art tells a story.
It sure does.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, this couch tells a story.
Yes.
It's saying, make yourself at home. That's its story.
We have an annual youth show here. All shows are open to all ages, but that one is specifically for the youth 18 and under. And there was, on our opening night, someone had purchased a piece of art of one of the children who was there. And I think she was about 8 years old. And her mother excitedly came over to her and said, do you see there's a sticker on your plaque under your artwork. Do you know what that means? And she was like, no. And she said, it means that your art sold. You're an artist now. And the little girl was like, oh, so excited. And I was just bawling. It was really sweet. It was really sweet.
Yes. And you got to witness that moment.
Right.
That's very sweet. That's what it's about, right?
Yeah, certainly.
That's what it's all about.
Encouraging artists of all ages. Yeah.
Now, meet Chris Pugh. So, Chris, tell me, how did you get involved with this nonprofit art gallery?
Oh, back in like 2017 or so, a group of friends and myself got together to talk about how to bring some new energy to the art scene here in the Ukiah Valley. And it took a few years, but here we are today.
So you have art from the local artists and maybe even some art from artists out of the area, but I'm noticing music here too. Tell me that story. How did that start?
Yeah, so we're all big music fans and we enjoy listening to a wide variety of music. And just over time, we brought in some record players and vinyl and started listening to them here. And it's part of what we do here is like a culture thing. And just over time, we kept acquiring more records and people kept asking us if we sold them, and we just started selling them.
What brings you back here every day?
It's really about the community. What we're trying to build here is really just about a community center where artists and people can come experience and view art. And so I really enjoy being part of the community at large. Sorry.
How do you think the community is responding to this?
Oh, it's great. We have our show openings are typically on like the first Fridays of the month, and we'll have a large crowd of people coming to see our new shows, and the feedback is really wonderful that we get, from the people who come.
So when you come in here and you see your art, and you also have crafts, and you have cameras, and you have record players, and you have music, you've got it all here. What makes you happy?
Seeing the reaction from people in our community for the work that we're doing. That's why we're here, is to support the community at large. Yeah.
All right, in 5 years from now, where would you see your nonprofit art gallery?
Well, I would like to see the gallery grow into the art center that we're working on building. That's what our long-term goal is, and that's what we're moving towards, is an art center. In Mendocino at large, the county, there's an art center in Mendocino, there's an art center in Willits, there's an art center in Wallala, but Ukiah actually doesn't have an art center, and so that's really what we're working for, is to build one.
That's a mighty goal.
It is, and I think we are the right people to do it, because we are passionate about the arts, and we want to make it happen.
But the music doesn't stop there. Magic is Real continues.
Tranquil fern canyons and babbling brooks, lake vistas stretching out before you, ancient redwood groves, a summer unbounded. Mendocino. Magic is real.
Hi, I'm Esther.
And I'm Spencer.
And this is Emmy.
And welcome to Harmony Gates.
And once you drive up to this wonderful, warm, loving ranch of Esther and Spencer's, there's so much to see outside. But it's inside in which we've got such a great treat for you ahead.
Well, Harmony Gates, the words Harmony Gates is that I've been in the music business most of my life, and recording studio, producer, composer, blah, blah, I can continue on. And harmony, that's where the word came from, with harmony, and gates is like the gates of a horse, G-A-I-T-S. And we've lived here for 38 years and had a lot of horses and a lot of albums and music come through this property. What do you want to contribute?
Well,
now?
it's just that, I teach horseback riding and I also use horses in psychotherapy. So the word turned out to be a great name for our property and our business and our art. So that's how we got Harmony Gates.
Eventually, this space you're in right now, or we're in, this was originally an old two-story redwood barn, and I restored pianos in here. And eventually it burned down, and then we moved the shop in town once this barn was built. Then I restored gramophones and phonographs, and now Harmony Gates is, this barn is all about making assemblage art.
And you, with this art, you have your own book out.
Yes, so we've been making art for 10, 15 years in this barn, and we were looking for other artists who do this kind of art, which is found art, using objects to create a new piece of art. Objects that don't normally live together, create a new harmonic experience for the viewer. And we couldn't find many books on artists who do this work where it was a good compilation of their work. We saw a lot of books with like one page of one artist and one page of another artist.
Or they were how-to craft books, how to do it.
So one day I looked at Spencer and I said, why don't we write a book? And we've never written a book and had no idea what it's about. And it took 3 years during COVID. We looked for other artists and we found them online and we interviewed them online, was doing Zoom, and they all agreed to be part of a book. And we talked to people who knew how to do a book, and we had some consultants, and we made this great book. Now we're in the process of trying to figure out the process of selling the book. Making a book is one thing, selling it is a whole different baby.
So with that, I've ended up with, luckily, I was in the production world for so many years, producing concerts or records or wine brands. And so I put that skill into doing the book, and it is a new language. It is a new paradigm, making a book itself. But the effort of actually producing something and putting all the nuts and bolts together was very, very similar to it. And we've now hired 2 different national-wide firms to help us take the book into stores and PR on a national level. We luckily, early this year, we've won 9 national awards. One award was first place in the whole country for interior design and second place for art and photography. Very lucky. Kind of cool.
So Spencer, why don't you tell me about what are we looking at behind you here?
What these are, I've been in the piano restoration business pretty much my whole life. And these are the fronts to either pump organs, pipe organs, or pianos, except for a couple of clocks themselves, from 1780 to 1880. And so we will get these instruments, usually very old, and they can't be restored at that point. They're just too old. And so I will take the parts out of them, gut them for the pieces that we use in our art up here.
Pieces like this?
Stuff like this is all from, mostly from pianos.
Right.
Well, the fronts, we use these fronts many times as a template or a background or as part of the actual piece itself. So this is, basically these are our paints. Everything in this room is our paints that we get to paint with, painting with objects.
So Esther, there are so many different avenues we can go down and travel here with the different kind of arts that are created here. What do you like to do best?
Well, sometimes I have an idea of what I'm going to do. And I like to look at other people's art and get some ideas. But most of the time, I just wander around this room and pull out a few pieces that I like and put them on the table and like move them around, find other pieces, decide if it's going to be in a frame or a box, and then there's this art process that happens. So because I love horses, some of my pieces include horses, and also I'm fascinated with Frida Kahlo, so I do pieces that include her, and then I just do whatever comes up. And Spencer and I tend to kind of influence each other a little bit, but we do have both of our unique styles. And we comment on each other's stuff a lot. We ask each other opinion. Sometimes I don't want to glue anything till I ask him, well, what do you think? And gluing is the big deal. It's like, okay, then you're really making a commitment. Gluing, screwing, and welding, yeah, all that kind of stuff. It's like, okay, so I'm now committed, but most of the time I'm totally happy. Occasionally I'll take something off, but most of the time it is a done deal, and it's very satisfying.
We'll get to a transition point in any of the pieces, and I'll sit here and wait for 30 minutes to an hour for her to get out of the session. I need your opinion. What do you think of this right here? Or she'll say, you know, I'm looking about this. What do we think is going on here? And we'll look all over the barn for 5 minutes or 30 minutes. What do you think of that? Oh, that's exactly what I wanted. You know, and it changes. It takes a left or a right.
Yeah, and I will say that doing the book and doing the art is one of the things that we're actually doing together.
Right.
Spencer has his own career of being a musician, and he tunes pianos. And I'm a psychotherapist, I teach horseback riding, so we're kind of have these separate worlds, but this world has brought us together, and the book has really been the first time we've ever done a project together. We made decisions together, and it's really been good for our relationship. You know, we've learned each other's, we've seen new parts of ourselves come out, and then we're kind of doing a little publicity with the book, and so I used to be kind of in the background, now I'm more in the foreground, and it
so
was
instead
good.
of doing a lot of couples therapy, create a book.
or do art together.
Or do art together, that's really it.
And
do therapy and that parallel, and it actually is even better.
And we do one-day workshops here,
Right.
and one of the things that we haven't considered, but I'm thinking as we're talking, is that we haven't considered doing couples classes.
Oh, that's interesting.
And I'm thinking, as I'm doing this interview, we have room for 4 couples here, and we would serve lunch, and it would be an all-day event, and they would have the opportunity to work together and create a piece together.
Yeah, and then we take pictures and video while it's going through, then we make these little clips, and they have something to take with them as well afterwards. For many years, there was a recording studio here on the property, and it was 4 rooms, main room, 2 isolation booths, and the control room. And eventually we closed it in 2009 with the financial crash, and the music industry completely crashed. And so with selling all the gear, which took a year, we had to do something with the space. And Airbnb had just started the year before. So we turned it into an Airbnb, and within a few years we got recognition that it says in the top 10 places in the country for Airbnb that's focused on music. And now people come in and they sleep in the old control room, which is dead quiet, and the music system's still in there. And then the main recording room has all these a lot of our art, and still has the grand piano and instruments, and they come and hang. Anything else you can contribute to that one?
No, sometimes people come and actually record their CDs here.
That's right.
They just bring a table and their computer, but it's so quiet here where they live. You know, there's noises of the traffic, and so they find it very inspiring. So we've had multiple people come back, groups and individuals, to record here for a week or so.
We have a woman, I think this is her 5th or 6th time up here, that she does all of her, books on tape as a professional. And so she can't do it in her house because the kids are running around, it's too loud, so she comes up here and just sits for 3 days. We don't even see her. And she just, I got through 3 chapters while I was here this time. She's very excited about it. So it's fun. And we've had a small handful that have rented the space, and then they came in here and made art. And that's all. It was very enjoyable for us as well. Yeah.
So while you're indoors creating art, you also create outdoor art as well. Tell me about Alice in Wonderland.
Well, we had a lawn that Spencer loved caring for, and then we had a drought.
Several years of droughts.
Yeah, and it became ridiculous to have sprinklers, and so we were looking around for an alternative to our front yard, and we started with a fountain, and Spencer was involved, but we also hired some people to help us make a fountain. And over time, it became an Alice in Wonderland theme. It was a work in progress. And so instead of mowing, we use a blower and blow the leaves off the
chessboard.
The chessboard.
We built an entire chessboard.
Paver tiles and fake grass. And then we have this beautiful fountain, and it's lovely. And we have lights at night when they go on automatically, and so it's just a whole fairy tale kind of place.
Well, that was your Alice in Wonderland toaster phase. So you were doing Alice in Wonderland out of the antique toasters, and that's what actually spurred you into doing this.
Yeah. I also got into Wizard of Oz too,
Right.
so between those two, I like those two.
She would take
themes.
antique toasters, 1920s, 30s, and 40s toasters, and then do these whole sculpture out of the various characters and stuff using these old toasters.
So with the water in the fountain, is that recycled water?
Totally.
How does that work?
Totally recycles.
You want to say something?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, we had to build, the box is solid metal about 1.5 feet down. We welded all the parts here, moved it into place, and the hard part was doing all the plumbing and the electrical, going under walkways, under trees, under porches to get back to the house. But it's finished, and the top of it, as you can see, is an old pool table slab. So it's solid slate, dead flat, that we cut and then augured around the edges. Basically, one morning she said, we gotta have a water feature. We gotta have a water feature in the front yard. So we pulled up weird water feature in Mr. Google. And eventually we saw a picture of one in a German garden, somewhere in Germany. And I looked at it for the longest time and thought, I can make that. And so eventually started putting all the parts together. Definitely had help along the way.
How does it feel knowing that you are artists?
An artiste.
So I never went I never took art classes in college. I took a few at the local community here, but I have no art background. I tried drawing horses as I was a kid and as an adult, and never could get it right. Never saw myself as an artist. A baker, yes, but not an artist. And I'm starting to adopt that I am an artist now. And it's just a medium that is so easy to work with. And when I get joy and joy from looking at the pieces and other people's do, it kind of affirms that I'm an artist. But the word artist generally, in my mind, is has always been drawers, sculptors, painters. And so it's expanding the definition of an artist. That's come around for me.
I've been one my whole life, so I really don't think about it. And it's not an ego thing talking. It's just I've been a creative since I was a child, and it's like, which chapter is it doing
music
now?
Or
Production, music, consulting, whatever,
Inventor.
Yeah. We've had a lot of foster kids over the 30 years, and hopefully we've mentored some to help them out along their paths in their lives. So we also shared that together over the years.
Now, how fun was all of that? Visit Mendocino County. The magic is real. Do you recall our first stop? Fort Bragg and checked in with the Alleyway Art Project. Boy, this is beautiful. A must-see for sure. We drove 60 miles to Medium Art Gallery and took a look at this wonderful nonprofit gallery that you must visit. And then Redwood Valley, where we visited Esther and Spencer, and they are so wonderful, so imaginative, so creative, not only indoors, but outdoors. I'm Roberta Gonzales, and I'll see you next time for Visit Mendocino County. The magic is real.